Operating cycle of merchandise business. The merchandising entity purchases inventory, sells the inventory, and uses the cash to purchase more inventory, and the cycle continues. So basically, ang operating cycle ng isang merchandising business is bumibili lang siya, yung cash niya is ibibili niya ng inventory, then yung inventory niya yon, ibebenta niya sa mga customers niya, and yung cash na marireceive niya from the sale of inventory ay gagamitin niya ulit pambili ng inventory, which is ibebenta ulit. Then yung proceeds from benta ng inventory ay marireceive ni merchandising business. Ganon yung operating cycle ng merchandising business. For cash sales, the cycle is from cash to inventory and back to cash. So sa cash sales ng operating cycle ng merchandising business, ang nangyayari is ganito. Ang nangyayari is ganito. The entity, meron siyang cash, and yung cash na yon is gagamitin niya pambili ng inventory. And yung inventory na yon is ibebenta niya sa customers or sa clients. Then yung proceeds ng cash is marireceive niya. Then the cycle continues. So sa cycle na ito, let's say na meron siyang cash na worth 10 pesos. Then yung 10 pesos ibibili niya ng inventory worth 10 pesos. Then yung inventory na yon is ibebenta niya at 12 pesos. So meron na siyang profit na na-receive na 2 piso. And the cycle continues. Ganon ang nangyayari sa cash sales ng merchandising business. Sa sales on account naman, the cycle is from cash to inventory to accounts receivable and back to cash. So sa sales on account, so katulad lang din siya ng cash sales, but meron lang accounts receivable na involved. So sa sales on account, ang nangyayari, ito yung pera ni business entity, cash. Then gagamitin niya pambili ng inventory. Then after niyang mabili yung inventory, ibebenta niya yan sa customer on account. Kumbaga utang pa lang ng customer yung benta ng business entity. And since na meron ng accounts receivable, pwede nang mag-collect or makakapag-collect na si entity ng cash sa kanyang mga customers. And kapag nakolekta na yung cash from accounts receivable, babalik sa kanya yung cash. Then same process ulit, bibili ng inventory, ibebenta on account sa customers, then collections, and the cycle continues. Source documents. Number 1, sales invoice. Sales invoice is prepared by the seller of goods and sent to the buyer. It specifies the amount of sales and the transportation and payment terms. So, ang sales invoice is actually, sa point of view ni seller, siya ay proof of benta ng merchandise. Proof of sale ng merchandise. Sa point of view naman ni buyer, kapag meron siyang hawak na sales invoice galing sa seller niya, yun naman ay proof of purchase ng merchandise. Bill of lading. Document issued by the carrier, a tracking, shipping or airline that specifies contractual conditions and terms of delivery such as freight terms, time, place, and the person name to receive the goods. So, ang bill of lading is ini-issue siya ng carrier, yung entity na nagdadala ng mga goods ng company. Ang goods ay pwede siyang i-deliver through land, through sea, or through air. So, ito, meron tayo ditong sample ng bill of lading. So, ito, yan. We have the date. Dito, nakalagay sa to, yung recipient ng goods. Sa from, kung sino ang seller or nagpadala ng goods. Nakalagay din doon yung bill to, kung sino ang mag-shoulder ng freight cost. So, nakalagay din dito yung freight terms. So, freight charges are prepaid. So, freight prepaid or pwede rin siyang freight collect. So, nakalagay din dito yung description ng item na dala-dala ng common carrier papunta kay recipient. Number 3, statement of account. A formal notice to the debtor detailing the accounts already due. Sa statement of account naman, nakalagay doon ang lahat ng invoice na hindi pa nababayaran ni debtor. And ang statement of account is nanggagaling palagi sa seller. Kung sino ang naniningil, siya ang nag-i-issue ng or siya ang nagbibigay ng statement of account. Official receipt evidences the receipt of cash by the seller. So, ang official receipt is normally si seller ang nag-i-issue. Ibig sabihin, na-receive niya na yung pera or yung cash na galing kay buyer. Deposit slips. A validated deposit slips indicates that cash and checks were actually deposited to the account holder. So, kapag may validated deposit slip, means ito yung proof na na-deposit na yung cash or checks doon sa account ng holder. Check. Written order to a bank by a depositor to pay the amount specified in the check from his checking account to the person named in the check. So tayo mga individuals, kapag tayo ay nagbabayad for ating mga personal consumption, nagbibigay tayo ng cash. Sa mga business entity normally, ang pangbayad nila ay through check. Purchase requisition. Purchase requisition is a written request to the purchaser of an entity from an employee of the same entity the goods to be purchased. So, minabanggit dito na purchaser. Ang purchaser, siya ang someone sa company or sa business entity na in charge sa pagbili ng mga goods ng business entity. And ang purchase requisition is normally nanggagaling siya kung sino yung nangangailangan ng goods. So for example, ito may sample tayo ng purchase requisition form dito. So ayan, halimbawa, ako na empleyado ng business entity is nangangailangan ako ng bond paper. Ngayon gagawa ako ng purchase requisition form since na ako naman yung nangangailangan and ako rin ang end user ng bond paper. Magre-request ako na bibili tayo ng isang kahon na bond paper. Then itong purchase requisition na ito is ibibigay ito sa purchaser, which is si purchaser naman ang in charge sa pagbili ng mga goods ng business entity. Purchase order is an authorization made by the buyer to the seller to deliver the merchandise as detailed in the form. So, sa side naman ni purchaser, kapag naka-receive na siya ng purchase requisition, kagaya nitong example kanina, so ito, galing ito sa kung sino man yung nangangailangan ng bond paper. Yan, meron siyang delivery kung kailan kailangan ng user yung bond paper. Nakalagay din yung quantity and description and yung price. Then yung purpose kung bakit nangangailangan siya ng bond paper. And nakalagay din dito yung mga supplier or yung mga vendor na pwedeng pagbilhan ng mga bond paper. Upon receive ni purchaser ng purchase requisition form, gagawa na siya ng purchase order. And ito yung example ng purchase order. Ayan, ito. So, nakalagay dito yung buying company or yung company na bibili ng bond paper, which is si XXX company, yung address. Then yung vendor na pagbibilhan ng bond paper. And itong purchase order na ito is ibibigay ito ni business entity or ni purchaser ng business entity doon sa vendor. And ibig sabihin, kapag binigay na ito ni purchaser sa vendor ng bond paper, meaning doon na mag-i-start yung pag-deliver ng bond paper sa XXX company. Receiving report is a document containing information about the goods received from the vendor. So, ang receiving report is ito yung proof or yung document na nagpo-prove na ang goods ay na-receive na ng business entity from vendor. Credit memorandum, a form used by the seller to notify the buyer that his account is being decreased due to errors or other factors requiring adjustments. So for example, si seller nagbenta on account kay customer worth 10 pesos. Then, yung 10 pesos na yon is mali pala yung amount. Dapat 8 pesos lang. So, nabawasan yung amount ng receivable ni seller from 10 pesos na naging 8 pesos. So, para mag-reflect yung 8 pesos as correct amount, si seller ay magbibigay ng credit memorandum na worth 2 pesos. Meaning, binabawasan niya yung receivable ni customer sa kanya ng 2 pesos. Ganon ang purpose ng credit memorandum. Ina-adjust niya or binabawasan niya ang receivable ng customer either due to errors or other factors requiring adjustments. For example, yung mga sales return, yung mga customer na nagbabalik ng item sa entity. So, nag-i-issue ngayon si business entity or si seller ng credit memorandum. Steps in a purchase transaction. Whenever a purchase or sale of merchandise occurs, the buyer and the seller should agree on the price of merchandise, the payment terms, and the party to shoulder the transportation cost. Meaning, dapat si buyer and si seller ay nag-a-agree sa presyo, sa payment terms, and sa transportation cost and other terms na related sa pagbenta ng merchandise. The procedures are as follows. When certain items are needed, the user department fills in a purchase requisition form and sends it to purchasing department. So for example, yung user ng business entity, kailangan niya ng bond paper. So since na nangangailangan siya ng bond paper, mag-fill up siya ngayon ng purchase requisition form para makabili yung business entity ng bond paper. Ngayon, ito ulit yung example ng purchase requisition form. So, ito. Then, nakalagay yung number, kung kailan kailangan ni user yung bond paper. Nakalagay din yung description, yung kung ano yung kailangan na item. Then, nakalagay din dito yung mga vendor ng bond paper. So, si user, gagawa siya ng purchase requisition form na ibibigay niya kay purchaser. Then, after mabigay ng purchase requisition form, the purchasing department then prepares a purchase order after checking with the price list. So, si purchaser naman ay gagawa siya ng purchase order. So, after maka-receive ng purchase requisition, si purchaser ay gagawa siya ng purchase order. So, nakalagay yung date, yung purchase order number, yung pangalan ng business entity, and yung pagbibilhan ng bond paper. So, sa case na to, si Aguila Bookstore yung napili as magiging vendor ng bond paper ng business entity. Number 3, after receiving the purchase order, the seller forwards the sales invoice to the purchaser upon shipment of the merchandise. Ang purchase order is pinapadala ito sa seller, yung magbibigay ng item. So, si purchase order, ibibigay ito ni purchaser doon sa entity na magdi-deliver ng goods sa entity. After receiving the purchase order ng seller, mag-i-issue na siya ngayon or magbibigay na siya ngayon ng sales invoice to the purchaser upon shipment of the merchandise. So, i-deliver na yung merchandise na may kasamang sales invoice. So, assuming na na-deliver na yung bond paper na nire-request ni user, so mag-i-issue na si Aguila Bookstore ng sales invoice. So, nakalagay dito yung sinisingil niya si XXX Building, which is yung entity na bumili ng bond paper. Then, nakalagay yung purchase order number and yung quantity and yung description ng deliver. So, isang kahon ng bond paper na short, 713 pesos. Dahil iyon yung napag-agrihan na presyo ni Aguila at the XXX Building. Upon receiving the shipment of merchandise, the purchaser's receiving department sees to it that the terms in the purchase order are compliant with and prepares a receiving report. So upon receiving ng merchandise, yung business entity is chine-check nila kung yung na-receive ba na merchandise is tally or equal doon sa lahat ng details na nasa purchase order. Dapat kung ano ang in-order, ganun din yung marireceive na goods. Before approving the invoice for payment, the accounts payable department compares of purchase requisition, purchase order, receiving report, sales invoice to ensure that quantities, descriptions, and price agree. Si accounts payable department, siya yung in charge sa pagre-record ng purchase ng bond paper ni business entity. So sa case na ito, siya yung magre-record ng debit, supplies, credit, accounts payable. And bago niya i-record or i-process yung payment dahil bumili si business entity ng bond paper, i-check ni accounts payable department yung lahat ng documents na dapat nag-a-agree ang lahat ng nakalagay sa source documents. So sa case na ito, meron ditong invoice. Si accounts payable department, nasa kanya na ang invoice, ang delivery receipt or receiving report, ang purchase order, at ang purchase requisition. Dapat lahat ng information na naka-indicate sa mga source documents is nag-a-agree. For example, dapat kung ano yung nasa purchase requisition, dapat ayun din yung nakalagay sa purchase order. And dapat yun din yung actual na na-receive ni business entity. Kung ano yung nasa purchase order, dapat yun din yung item na na-receive ni business entity. So dapat pati yung vendor, kung kay Aguila vendor yung manggagaling yung item, dapat kay Aguila na bookstore din manggagaling yung sales invoice. And syempre, yung price and yung quantity ng item dapat nag-a-agree sa lahat ng source documents. So yung mga source documents na na-indicate dito is meron ding discussion dito sa ating channel ng mga source documents. So under siya ng basic accounting na playlist. So doon nagpakita kami doon ng samples ng iba pang mga source documents. Kung gusto niyo makita yung iba pang sample ng source documents, so watch niyo na lang yung video doon sa basic accounting na playlist.